In a world filled with uncertainty, emotional turbulence has become a constant companion for many. From the anxiety of work deadlines to the frustrations of daily life, we often find ourselves at the mercy of our emotions. But what if you could develop a rock-solid inner peace, one that is unshaken by external circumstances? That's where the wisdom of Stoicism comes into play. In this video, we'll dive deep into the Stoic approach to mastering your emotions, not by suppressing them, but by understanding and transforming them. For the Stoics, emotions are not something to be feared or avoided. Instead, they believe that by using reason and perspective, we can transform negative emotions into inner strength. We'll explore how ancient Stoic techniques can help you navigate emotional turmoil and achieve a state of calm, regardless of what life throws at you. Before we dive into the techniques, it's important to understand how the Stoics viewed emotions. They believed that emotions like anger, fear, and sadness stem from misjudgments about what is truly good or bad. According to Epictetus, it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. For instance, you might feel anger if someone insults you. But what's actually causing your anger? Is it the words spoken by the other person, or is it your interpretation of those words? The Stoics teach us that if we can change how we perceive events, we can change how we feel about them. This leads us to a crucial Stoic insight. Emotions are not uncontrollable forces. They are the result of our judgments, and we have the power to change those judgments. Now, let's focus on the Stoic techniques for mastering your emotions. Technique 1. Cognitive distancing. Observing without reacting. One of the most powerful Stoic techniques for dealing with emotions is cognitive distancing. This is the practice of stepping back from your emotions and observing them objectively. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often wrote about treating his emotions like external events that could be observed and analyzed rather than being swept away by them. Imagine you're stuck in traffic and you feel frustration bubbling up inside you. Instead of reacting with anger, try to observe your frustration as if you're watching someone else experience it. Acknowledge that you feel irritated, but then ask yourself, is this frustration helping me? Can I control the traffic? The simple act of distancing yourself from your emotions gives you space to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. By practicing this technique, you can cultivate a sense of inner calm even in challenging situations. You're no longer a slave to your emotions. Instead, you become an observer, able to choose how you respond. Technique 2. The pause and reflect technique. Another highly effective tool in Stoic emotional mastery is the pause and reflect technique. The Stoics believed in the power of pausing before reacting to any emotional stimulus. This practice is about giving yourself a moment of space between an event and your response. Seneca, a famous Roman Stoic, often advised practicing patience in the face of provocation. He believed that most of our emotional outbursts, especially anger, are the result of a rushed judgment. By pausing, you allow yourself time to reflect on whether the situation is really worth an emotional reaction. Next time you feel your emotions rising, whether it's frustration, anger, or anxiety, pause for just a few seconds. Take a deep breath and reflect. Is this emotion helping me? Am I reacting to something beyond my control? How will this situation look to me a week, a month, or a year from now? By taking this mental step back, you regain control over your emotional state, preventing rash decisions or unnecessary stress. Next, we'll focus on transforming negative emotions with Stoicism. It's important to recognize that emotions are a natural part of life. The Stoics didn't advocate for the suppression of emotions, but for transforming negative emotions into something constructive. Anger, fear, and sadness all have their place, but when left unchecked, they can lead to poor decisions and emotional suffering. Stoicism teaches us to reframe these emotions by challenging the assumptions behind them. Now let's talk about reframing your perspective, a core Stoic practice. When faced with a negative emotion, the Stoics would ask, "Is this really as bad as it seems?" Marcus Aurelius, who had to deal with the immense pressures of being a Roman emperor, often used this technique to keep himself grounded. In his meditations, he constantly reminded himself that his judgments were responsible for his distress, not the external events. The next time you feel stressed or overwhelmed, try reframing the situation. Instead of thinking, "This is terrible," ask yourself, "What's the worst that could happen? Will this matter in a year? Can I find a lesson or opportunity in this situation?" By shifting your perspective, you can turn negative emotions into opportunities for growth. This simple mental shift can prevent you from getting caught up in unnecessary worry and frustration, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. One of the most powerful Stoic techniques for mastering your emotions is AMOR FATI, which translates to love of fate. The idea here is not just to accept what happens to you, but to embrace it fully, seeing every event, good or bad, as part of your journey. Nietzsche would later draw on this Stoic principle, but it was the Stoics who first saw the value in loving whatever life throws your way. Imagine facing a setback, a missed promotion, a failed relationship, or an unexpected challenge. Instead of resisting and fighting against it, Stoicism teaches us to say, "This too is for my good." When you adopt this mindset, emotions like frustration, anger, or disappointment lose their power. You begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth. Ask yourself, "What can I learn from this? How can this setback help me improve?" By practicing AMOR FATI, you transform emotions that could weigh you down into fuel for personal growth and resilience. Just like any skill, mastering your emotions through Stoicism takes practice. Here are a few practical exercises you can incorporate into your daily life. Exercise 1. Daily Stoic Reflection. At the end of each day, reflect on your emotional responses. Ask yourself, where did I let my emotions get the better of me? Could I have handled the situation with more patience or calm? How can I respond differently next time? This daily practice of self-reflection, a core Stoic habit, helps reinforce emotional mastery over time. Exercise 2. Journaling with purpose. Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius were famous for journaling. They would write about their thoughts, emotions, and challenges each day. By putting your emotions on paper, you gain perspective on them. It's a way of objectifying your feelings, allowing you to evaluate whether they're rational or helpful. Take a few minutes every morning or evening to journal about your emotional experiences. This exercise helps you become more aware of your emotional triggers and gives you insight into how you can apply Stoic principles in the future. Conclusion: Stoic mastery of emotions. In today's chaotic and emotionally charged world, the Stoic path offers a way to regain control over your inner life. By practicing techniques like cognitive distancing, reframing your perspective, and embracing AMOR FATI, you can master your emotions and find unshakable inner peace. Remember, Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions, but about transforming them. You have the power to choose how you respond to life's challenges. By applying these Stoic techniques, you'll develop the ability to stay calm, composed, and centered no matter what comes your way. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe for more insights on how ancient Stoic wisdom can empower you to navigate the modern world with clarity and strength.